Is the Bible right about the earth being in the midst of the waters of the deep, with waters under the firmament and waters above the firmament? Or are the scientists right about an earth spinning through an airless space in the universe? Is there proof of the Genesis creation, or is the globe spinning through space a scientific fact?
This is what the Bible says about the location of the earth.
In the beginning God made the heaven and the earth. The earth was without form, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the deep, the face of the waters. God made the firmament in the midst of the waters of the deep, with waters under the firmament and waters above the firmament. Within the firmament God made the land and the seas. According to the biblical creation narrative, the earth, covered in a firmament, is submerged in the deep waters, with waters below and waters above the firmament.
This is what the scientists say about the location of the earth.
The earth is rotating at a mind-blowing speed of 1,670 kilometers an hour. That's the rotation. In the meantime, the earth is on the move in space at the speed of 66,660 miles an hour. The universe, in which we are speeding at 66,660 miles an hour and rotating at 1,670 kilometers an hour, the universe is also at grand speed of 165,600 miles per hour per megaparsec. The tilt of the earth happens to be 66.6 degrees. So if you believe the earth spinning in space, you know the story we are told. That's what you believe. The Bible says that we live under a firmament, submerged in the midst of the deep waters, with waters covering the firmament. The scientists say that we live on a globe spinning through space, an airless, indefinite universe. These two worldviews cannot both be true.
Who are the people behind the heliocentric model, the globe spinning through space?
All education, all history, all science and space travel is under the control of the governments right now, who are the Satanists presenting themselves as the angels of light. The whole world is under the control of the evil one who deceived the nations, using the worldwide networks of the Rothschilds, Committee of 300, the Jesuits, the Illuminati, the Freemasons, Bohemian Grove, Skull and Bones, the Bilderberg Group and many other subgroups. The media and television is used to infiltrate the minds of the masses, penetrating them with the lies of creation and the universe, using science falsely so-called. Heliocentrism is the astronomical model in which the Earth and the planets revolve around the Sun at the center of the universe. It was not until the 16th century that a mathematical model of the heliocentric system was presented by the Renaissance magician Nicolaus Copernicus. Nicolaus Copernicus was a Renaissance polymath. A Renaissance polymath is a scientist who draws on complex bodies of knowledge to solve specific problems. These polymaths had a rounded approach to education that reflects the ideals of the humanists, and Copernicus was also converted to humanism. They did not endure sound teaching, but had itching ears, accumulating for themselves teachers to suit their own passions, turning away from listening to the truth, wandering off into myths. From the Renaissance onwards, science and history has been under the total control of humanism. Humanism being a philosophy without theism and without any supernatural beliefs. Humanists, being atheists, reject the biblical creation. The rejection of a supernatural force making the earth made them develop the heliocentric model. They created the evolutionary model. A Big Bang created everything from nothing, with the result a spherical earth spinning through space. This is the history according to Jehovah's story, with an origin 6,000 years ago. This is the history according to the scientists, with an origin 4.6 billion years ago. This is the origin of the Earth according to history. Most astronomers believe that about 18 to 20 billion years ago all the matter in the universe was concentrated into one very dense, very hot region that may have been much smaller than a period on this page. For an unknown reason, this region exploded. This explosion is called the Big Bang. This is the origin of the Earth according to Jehovah's story. Jehovah made the world. The humanists reject any god. It's without theism or other supernatural beliefs. This worldview formed the foundation of the Big Bang theory, of which the heliocentric model is the result. The cause of the globe spinning through space is the initial evolutionary explosion, the scientific impossibility that nothing exploded and everything made itself. The Satanists created a worldwide science fiction propaganda indoctrination machine using fabricated science to fool the world.
According to NASA, the globe and the planets are man-made, Computer Generated Imagery.
The pictures of the globe are not what they seem. They are computer generated imageries. NASA.gov. Then we wrap the flat map around a ball. My part was integrating the surface, clouds and oceans to match people's expectations on how Earth looks like from space. That ball became the famous blue marble. Here you see the pictures of the globe. Do you see any irregularities? The USA grew 30% between 1978 and 2012. The Gulf of Mexico blew up to be a giant. And here's a close-up showing the incredible creativity. Whoever chose the name NASA was mocking Christianity. NASA is the word translated as beguiled. The NASA scientists claim to have taken a picture of the Earth from the moon. However, when investigating a picture with Photoshop, the picture turned out to be fake.
In the meantime, they are images that inspire, educate, and sometimes just make us say, wow.
Yeah.
Over the years, NASA has given us spectacular photos and renderings that reveal a colorful and mysterious universe.
No doubt. And now Chris Martinez is introducing us to two of the artists behind some of the most iconic space art in the galaxy.
In a small, bright office, working side by side,
Let's see.
Robert Hurt and Tim Pyle bring the universe to life.
What we're doing does have real science underlying it.
Robert is an astrophysicist turned artist. Tim, once a Hollywood animator, is now a planet illustrator. Together, they produce some of NASA's most popular images, from renderings of how planets light years away could look, to actual photos of stars and galaxies captured by NASA's powerful telescopes.
And this is sort of how it comes to me. And then
Many of those images have a dark, grainy start, but color and light reveal an astonishing glimpse of how the deepest regions of space might appear to the human eye.
What I'm trying to do is show people sort of the broader colors that the universe has to offer.
It's a delicate blend of imagination and data. The artists meet with NASA scientists over many drafts to ensure a planet or galaxy's look lines up with the research to make each one as accurate as possible.
I love the challenge. It's kind of like a puzzle to me of trying to create something that looks really cool within the restrictions that were given by the scientists.
It can take days, even weeks, to produce just a single image. The dazzling final results, enough to keep us all dreaming of the final frontier for years to come. Chris Martinez, CBS News, Pasadena, California.
The artists also say they have to be especially careful when it comes to illustrations of other planets to avoid colors many of us would associate with Earth, like blue for water.
There exists not one real picture of any planet, including Earth. Everything you see every day is fake. The truth of the Genesis creation narrative is debunked by false science. We are being indoctrinated to believe lies. We live in a world covered with a firmament. No one can get out. It's a closed, submerged system. Exactly what the Bible says.
The technical specifications of NASA, the military and the aviation industry are based on a flat, non-rotating Earth.
The military and the aviation industry have to program their flight software in accordance with the curvature, if the curvature would exist. The specifications of the curvature should be programmed within the software of the missiles and the airplanes to prevent them from flying into space, of course, if we live on a globe. If in reality we live on a flat non-rotating Earth, the missiles and airplanes would crash if programmed with the globe assumption. The Satanists can lie to the whole world but cannot lie in their operating software. Is their software programmed for the globe or programmed for a flat Earth? Here we have Aerospace Research Central. Here you can find that document. A ballistic vehicle entering the atmosphere over a flat, non-rotating Earth. If you go further downward, considering a re-entry vehicle entering the atmosphere over a flat, non-rotating Earth. Army Research Laboratory. Page 11. The first is the Earth Fixed Coordinate System, which is fixed to the Earth with a flat Earth assumption. A simulator error model implementation, written by Thomas S. Alderate with a small letter 1 behind it, and we go a little bit downward. NASA Ames Research Center in Muffet Field. Page 3. For this derivation, a non-rotating Earth will be assumed. Page number 10. For a flat non-rotating Earth considered here. You can look up these documents yourself. I found them on the internet. Army Research Laboratory. Propagation of electromagnetic fields over a flat Earth. You can find it here. Propagation over electromagnetic fields over flat Earth. Here we have ResearchGate. ResearchGate put that publication vision-based mobile target geolocalization and target discrimination using base detection theory. Page 5 it said the object can be estimated using a flat Earth model. Here we're also using a flat Earth model. Atmospheric refraction errors for optical instrumentation. This is an old document. Technical memorandum. Published by Systems Engineering Branch. Here we have validity over flat Earth assumption. The relationship is correct over a flat Earth and a flat atmosphere. The globe spinning through space does not exist. NASA, the military and the aviation industry know that. Genesis 1 is the truth.
The United Nations, the World Health Organization, the International Maritime Organization, the World Meteorological Organization and the International Civil Aviation Organization have the flat Earth map in their logo.
Here we have the map of the flat Earth. Now what happens if we turn this map clockwise? Lo and behold, the United Nations use the same flat Earth in their logo. So does the World Health Organization, so does the World Meteorological Organization, so does the International Maritime Organization, and so does the International Civil Aviation Organization.
The International Space Station is a big scam to keep the masses in their evil spell of a globe spinning through an airless space.
The Earth is not flying through an empty space, but floats in the midst of the waters, with a firmament with waters above it and beneath it. Space only exists in the minds of the indoctrinated masses. During the SpaceX rocket launch, there was an uninvited guest. Why do the rats always spoil everything?
An appropriate range where we should be. So that essentially just means that we're within the expected and appropriate range where we should be. So that, again, we use that term nominal, and that essentially just means that we're within the expected and appropriate range.
We're being fooled on national television. At the background they show the false footage of the Earth. The whole live CBS News broadcast is fiction.
An appropriate range where we should be. So that essentially just means that we're within the expected and appropriate range where we should be. So that, again, we use that term nominal, and that essentially just means that we're within the expected and appropriate range.
Unfortunately for the liars, the use of models to fool the world has been exposed. Thank God for sending the rat to spill the beans.
In the Mission Control Center of NASA, the footage of the fake space station is filmed using green screen for their fake tricks.
George Bush enters the Mission Control Center, while a science fiction recording is in progress in the background.
Been here once before.
Nice to meet you. Good, how are you?
Pleasure to meet you, sir. Welcome to MCC.
Thank you.
Been here once before. Been here once before. Chroma key means you can use any background that you like. This is what the background looks like. This is the true background that we filmed this on. With chroma key, it means you can have any background that you like this, or maybe this, or maybe this.
The Hebrew depiction of the Earth shows a total different round Earth. Yes, it is round like a disc or a circle. A sphere is not a circle, so let us not mix these terms. Genesis 1:7 clearly states two things. First of all, there is a firmament, which can only be firm, like a dome, impenetrable. The same verse states that there are waters above the firmament. These two statements are directly opposed to the heliocentric model. The fact that the globe is CGI, the planets are CGI.
It can take days, even weeks, to produce just a single image.
And NASA is using CGI for their science fiction correlates with the statement that the dome is impenetrable. Otherwise we would have had true pictures and no NASA fiction.
Spherical planets in space do not exist. They are stars in the firmament.
Here you see footage of stars recorded from Earth. Do you see the movement as if these stars are filled through water? And look at this rocket hitting the firmament and is sort of water skiing on the waters above.
The SpaceX rocket of NASA flies against the firmament and starts water skiing.
What is happening to this rocket? It is not hitting air or clouds. Water skiing on the firmament? Water skiing on the waters above? This is amazing! Why? Because we are told all our lives that there is no firmament and there are no waters above the sky. I don't know about you, but I do not buy that narrative anymore. You know what? I think the Bible Genesis narrative is literally true.
Personally go high enough to see this planet or sail far enough away to see if there is an end to this Earth or some land beyond Antarctica, but we do have a chance to watch rockets launch. They go up all the time. You can watch these rocket launches that seem to be happening more and more, but you have to wonder why they're taking this curved path and they're not going straight up. Now the official answer is they're taking some curve with gravity, and there always will be some cover story for why they can't go straight up.
Why can't the rockets go straight up? That's because we live in a closed, submerged world covered with a firmament. The rockets would hit the firmament if they would go straight up.
The Sun is not 93 billion miles away from Earth.
In Genesis 1:14-17, God puts the sun and the moon inside the firmament as lights for the day and the night. This implies that the sun cannot be 109 times bigger than the object it illuminates, and that the sun cannot be 93 million miles away. As a matter of fact, you can see visual proof of the sun being close almost every day.
We have a pilot here flying at 35,000 feet. He's looking at the moon over to his right. You got the sun over here to the left. The sun is below the horizon. That should never happen for a sun that's 93 million miles away. Here we have another guy flying right next to the sun. As we all know, clouds are not 93 million miles high, okay? So why is the sun below the clouds? If he makes a hard right, he can fly right into the sun. I mean, if he wants to check out early or something, but that's how close it is, all right? Here we are again, another pilot flying past the sun. There it is, local hotspot right on the clouds. Here we are again, the sun is right beneath these clouds here. I'm trying to figure out how this happens with the sun that's 93 million miles away. In fact, I know how it happens. It happens like this because we live on a flat enclosed system with a close and local sun and moon. As you can see here, the moon is below the horizon line, okay? This should never happen with the moon that's in outer space, 238,000 miles away from Earth, but yet it's below the horizon line. Here we are again, the sun below the horizon line.
Many professionals know about the flat Earth but do not go public, afraid of their jobs.
You meet a lot of pilots who believe in flat Earth?
They all know, but they can't talk about it because they'll be grounded. They're not allowed to talk about it. They talk about it amongst themselves in their lounge, but they're not allowed to mention it or they lose their livelihood. We interviewed a KLM pilot on the show Globebusters. This woman pilot told us everything, showed us photos, showed us how it worked, told everything. She's like, the world is flat, no doubt. Next day she was grounded.
If the Earth is flat, why can't we see millions of miles away? Well, that's because of the limits of perspective, also called the vanishing point.
When ships pass the ocean's horizon, they should technically be vanishing over the curve of the Earth. A strong camera lens, however, proves this to be false. Ships do not vanish over the curve of the Earth, but vanish beyond our limits of perspective. The law of perspective on a flat plane dictates that a receding object diminishes in angle and height until the line of sight converges to a vanishing point. of what is called the horizon, in which the object then becomes invisible. The scientist liars claim that the sun sets and vanishes beyond the curve of the Earth, but this is nothing more than the sun moving beyond the vanishing point of perspective, which is determined by the limitations of our eyes, other objects, and weather.
When calculating the curvature of distant objects using NASA specifications, there is no curvature detectable.
According to Wikipedia, the radius of the Earth is 3,963 miles. From here to here is 3,963 miles. The only way to double check if the Earth is really the way they say it is, we can do some real science, the one you can observe. Here is a picture taken from the harbor of Calais. On the other side, 25 miles away, you see the coastline of the UK. Where is the curvature? You see, this is a ball and this is flat, no curvature. We are looking at maybe 100 plus miles distance from left to right. How about the depth of the picture? Is it scientifically possible to see the cliffs from Calais at the distance of 25 miles? If you calculate the distance and the corresponding curvature of this 25 miles in the picture. This is a calculation of the curvature of the globe. Objects 20 miles away are 266 feet below the point of vision. Objects 30 miles away are 600 feet below the point of vision. The cliffs have a height of 350 feet. So if the Earth is round the way NASA and co claims it is, according to their own calculations, the cliffs should not be visible from this point. They should be hidden, as if they were located here, behind the curvature.
The Satanists use their scientific channels to lie about the curvature of the Earth.
When we look for the proof of curvature, we do find that there are some mainstream imagery and videos out there that show us just that, like this helicopter dipping below the curve. However, I am thankful that humble truth seekers with eyes to see have spotted some things that prove that these once trusted resources for our scientific information that we received on a daily basis are liars. They are deceiving us and our children, but you don't have to take my word for it. You can see for yourself and watch this breakdown by Ben from Taboo Conspiracy, who exposes the fraud that should not be needed if we did in fact live on a curved and moving surface.
But what makes the PBS video so rotten is that this helicopter event was entirely fabricated and it's provable. Remember, PBS claimed that the helicopter descended behind the curvature and then came up from behind the curvature of the Earth back into view of the telescope. But as you will see, when the helicopter descends, there is a group of birds with a peculiar flight pattern. And then when the helicopter subsequently ascends, the same birds appear and in the same exact flight pattern. Not only that, the waves match as well. Only the image of the helicopter changes, meaning that the helicopter video was added.
Now, thank you, Ben, for breaking that down for us so that we can see it. And thank you, Father, for sending birds, these 3 birds, to expose this lie. Without those birds, this would be a lot harder to prove as fraudulent, and they went through at the exact right time, and these deceivers were caught. Doesn't always happen, and there's a lot of proofs they have that are very difficult to distinguish between reality and lies, because they have poured everything they have into this lie. Special lenses, computer animations, you name it, it's worth it for them, because the deceptions to come will depend on you not investigating and proving all things. You have to be ready. You have to prove all things. Doing that will mean that you are going to lose the wisdom of this world, and it will separate you from the world. For those of you who have never investigated this stuff and are having your eyes opened, it's worth it.
The video showed you the Genesis 1 creation story compared with the heliocentric model, which is the globe spinning through space. The proof is presented that the heliocentric model is a total fabrication. The Satanists try to keep the world within the web of deception. They do not want the world to know that God made the world, put the firmament in the middle of the deep sea, in which God formed the earth as we know it. It is up to you who you want to put your faith in the world with its science falsely so called, or in the divine God of the Bible with his holy word.
Scientists takes to the air to investigate a mystery.
I reported it and nobody had believed me.
They're trying to catch a burst of energy so fleeting and hard to see that scientists call it by the ethereal name of Sprite.
The bolts that cause sprites are super bolts, the kind of lightning that will blow your TV sky high.
Nova takes to the air on a quest to record these elusive events. For an instant, a giant red flash appeared. On replay, they can see beautiful shafts of light thrusting upward. The mysterious Sprite in all its glory. Then, the sprites keep coming. On board, the team reviews the stunning and unique images. This Sprite was shaped like a mangrove tree. It's been captured in more detail than any Sprite until now. Just like its name, this Sprite evokes a fairy with wings.
Yeah, very big jellyfish. It's pretty. Very pretty.
It indeed looks like a jellyfish with many tentacles. Sprites of many different forms appear, one after another. Seen up close, they have a variety of shapes. Eventually, a Sprite appears that demands special attention.
This is spectacular.
The umbrella-like top of this Sprite reaches an altitude of around 60 miles.